Good evening, Redbirds, and welcome to week 2 of HSC 170, Safety and Society. Big week, the first week. A lot of concepts, a lot of things that you need to remember throughout the rest of the semester here. Key one being risk, the definitions of, what we're defining safety as a class, what a hazard is, severity, probability, how do you get risk mathematically? Severity times probability equals your risk. These concepts are going to go throughout the entire semester. You're going to hear about them. You're going to be tested on them. I guarantee everything I just said shows up on test number 1. I promise you it will, in some fashion or form. And in case you haven't looked at our textbook, page 1, in simple, concise terms, risk is the future's uncertainty. That is the definition we're going to go with. It's a very simple definition, but it translates very well to everything that you do. We also talked about this week in the first chapter is decision-making principles, utilitarian, fairness and justice, people's rights, common good, virtue. Definitely want to know, understand those. Read it in the textbook, review it in the PowerPoint, what they are, what their concepts are, how to define them. If I maybe gave you a scenario, you'd be able to decide which concept, which risk decision we were talking about. But it's important. Decision making is important, and throughout your entire life. For your safety majors, understand that you're going to be beaten to death with safety and hazard and probability. And it's good to know and grasp what the concepts are, but you need to also understand that they're fluid. The definitions are fluid. Risk to somebody in a finance major or a business major is not the same definition that we have in, say, healthcare or even piloting or journalism. There's journalistic risks that can be taken that are, the definition of risk, it changes. It's malleable and changes from industry to industry and situation to situation. But what we covered this week, those are our definitions. Those definitions will carry on throughout the 16 weeks. Those are what you'll be tested on. I promise you'll be tested on to understand and know that. Because it applies to everything you do in life. Coming up this week, in week 2, we're going to move into a little bit of drab topics. We're going to talk about measurement and statistics. And then next week, week 3, we get into scientific studies. But all of it's important to know in your risk information, in your risk management, in your decision-making process. You need to know all this stuff. So it is a little dry this week. Measurement, it talks about measurement and what it is and what we measure and the laws of measurement. And then we talk about statistics. Basic statistics, if you've taken a statistics class, you're going to do just fine in this class. We do very simple things so you understand the concept of what mean, median, mode are, and a lot of how to, what statistics are and what they're used for. The difference between differential and inferential statistics. Key concepts, again, because this class is talking about making risk decisions and how risk affects our society and how those decisions we make affect society. So you got to know where the information comes from. Is it good information? Is it a good source? This week we had, and I know we said we're not going to talk politics in this class, but we will talk about politics because one of the big things is happening here in November. If you haven't been paying attention, we have a presidential election. Left, right, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I will not put my views on you, and I do not and will not tolerate any comments in the forums pushing an agenda on anybody. But we will talk about politics because so much about this week goes into politics, and that's statistics. Every campaign ad that you see has something in very fine print at the bottom that says this study was done by this person and this is the results plus or minus. That plus or minus is very, very important because that's how accurate it is. And who did the study and where do their affiliations lie. I can give you an example of industry. If you, a couple of years back, the safety department did a anti-fatigue mat study. So it was a scientific study that I was part of, a couple other students in the department as undergrads. We did a study of the different types of mats. We had a foam mat, we had a no mat, so just on regular floor, and then we had an air mat. And we just did a happy face, sad face study of, how much pain basically how much pain did you have before we used the mat, and how much pain did you have during, how much pain do you have after. And we were trying to see statistically which mat was better. It's a completely subjective. It's either happy face, sad face, somewhere in the middle face, we used employees at ISU that had sit-stand desks, and there was a whole thing about it. And then we got to present, and we presented at the Applied Ergonomics Conference. And one of the things at the conference, the people that were highly interested in our study were the people that sold anti-fatigue mats. And it wasn't that we were doing groundbreaking work and all of a sudden 3 undergrads from Illinois State made a difference in what they were doing, but we were independent. And that's what they wanted. Illinois State University is an independent scientific study. No, we gained absolutely nothing but the experience of doing it and potentially publishing a paper for academic credibility later in life for doing this study. So all of these ergonomic mat people wanted to donate mats to us now. Hey, can you redo the study with our mats? We will give you some anti-fatigue mats. Can you redo your study with ours? And the reason being is if they use a commercial that says an independent university did this study and found out our type A mat is the best out there, they can use that and it looks really good. And it looks different than saying, well, we did a study on mats in our own apartment building over on J Street, and type A was the best one. Well, that's because it's your employees. How credible is that information? How credible are those results? Independently, Illinois State University had nothing to gain from doing the study, nothing at all. We got some free mats and some experience is what we got from that. And so if they would run an advertisement or run it in a pamphlet as information, it would show up as a good study. So that's why we need to understand measurements, how things are being measured, and then the statistical analysis of it. And we'll get into in the next couple weeks on credibility, who's giving that information. And that's what we're seeing right now with the presidential race. You've got both parties are running presidential campaign ads, and they're saying things, and you want to be able to logically look at that and say, is that good information? Is that bad information? And it's the same thing. It goes to Facebook. Everybody's a doctor on Facebook. And we post all kinds of information on Facebook, and a lot of us get information from Facebook. But when it's a study or somebody's using numbers, ask them, where'd you get that from? And you guys should be smart enough in this day and age with technology that you always double check what you read. A meme is never true on the first go around. They can be true, but they're never meant to be true. But that information came from somewhere, so ask them where it is. And a lot of people that really support what they're saying and their beliefs will provide you a link. And a lot of people that don't support it will tell you, oh, you do the work, you figure out where I got it from. Or if they know it's a bad source, they'll defend not giving you the source, telling you that you can look it up for yourself. So that's why we learn this, because you're going to make decisions in a couple months. I think 70 days is the election, something around there. And I encourage everybody to vote. Always vote. Register to vote. If you need to know how to register to vote, I will find the information for you guys. In fact, Illinois State should be coming out with some information. If you haven't been emailed it yet, I will reach out to the university and I'll post it up on our RegioNet site. That's how important voting is. I don't care which way you vote. I care that you vote. And that's in everything. That's in county elections, city elections. I live in a village in Wisconsin. We have village elections. I just got my registration from moving up here. I'm registered to vote, so I can now vote in the presidential elections. And we have some village elections going on at the same time that I would be allowed to vote in. However, I'm a poor consumer of information around here. I don't know who the candidates are. I don't know what they're running for. So, is my vote wasted? Absolutely not. No vote's ever wasted. But can I make an informed decision? No, I have to make the effort to figure it out. And that's what you need to do when it comes to taking risks. Understand what's being measured. Understand how the study was done. Understand the statistics. Is it a plus or minus 10? Plus or minus 10 is generally 10%. That means it's 10%. It could be 10% higher. It could be 10% lower. So if somebody's like, oh, it's plus or minus 55, well, that means it could be 45 or it could be 65. And whether you want that stat to be higher or lower, you got to understand that and look at it. Also, when we look at populations and subpopulations and what they are and what they're actually measuring, that makes a difference too on who's being measured and the study. And we'll get into all of this. Hopefully next week we will have a library resources PowerPoint on how the library can be used during COVID. I think I did one last year. However, because of COVID, the library resources and how you use the library and how you get information has changed. So I want to get the correct information out to you, because also in week 3 you will get another beautiful video like this explaining the debate project. Also, if you've made it this far in the video, make sure you vote in the Zoom meeting poll. I need to know the best time to get the most of you. Like I said, I work a 9 to 5, so the Zoom meeting is going to be in the evening, but I want to give everybody the opportunity, 1, to see me, 2, we can check in on week 3, how everybody's doing. Is the information coming across all right? Are the PowerPoints working? Are the videos working? Are there dead links? I hope you would let me know before week 3 that there's dead links, but how everybody's going to get together, and then we're going to talk about the debate project a little bit in detail. And then I will post a separate folder also on RegioNet that'll have all the details, grading rubric, your groups, the topics, all that, what week they're going to be going on. That'll all be available next week. It's a great project. I like doing it. It worked out really well last year when I did it over. I did my last week. I had a test group that did it over the. And I'm drawing a blank. Awesome. I used an app. I don't have to get the app information out, but it worked really well. It's 5-minute videos. You can set them right up. You reply right to each other, and it works really, really well. I get all that information out there. I'll create classrooms for you, so it won't be confusing. And then the debates will kick off, and the debates are 20% of your grade. They're important. Both the video that you make and the paper you write are important, because, again, you're going out there, you're finding information, and then you're going to intelligently tell us why you're taking that spot. And I will pick whether you're the proponent or the defendant of it, and they'll work well. Once the first week of the debates gets out of there, everything moves pretty smoothly, but you got to hit the timelines on those. Finally, Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, for you safety majors. If you've talked about it, you're going to learn about it some more. You've probably seen the video that's posted up. But Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, very, very important piece of history in the safety profession. That's where we're going to kick off our history of safety. and throughout the semester, there's going to be gems and videos for you to watch and papers about the history of safety. In the big, it's the big events that happened in the world that really made the profession what it is, and then also set up all these, like risk management. It didn't just pop out of the air. Something happened with risk management, and just like there's always a backstory to something. But our history starts in 1907 with the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. For those that know anything about like OSHA and safety, they didn't come around until 1970. So you had a large gap in time before the United States made it a official law and made a bureau that said, hey, we're going to do safety things and we're going to keep workers safe. But in between that time, and that's what we'll learn, there are a lot of organizations that put in the effort to keep their workers safe, make good choices, especially the fire, National Fire Protection. We'll talk about them in depth after a couple fires that we'll do a couple studies on, and how building material became what you could put on a wall and what you could build your buildings out of became changed due to a couple major fires in history. So, as always, if you have any questions, reach out to me. ReggieNet is the way to do it. In a case of emergency, send me an email. I am back up. I had a little technology issues. I was down at my house. I thought I had my email set up on my phone. That was not the case. I was not getting anybody's emails, so I just thought you guys were silent. So if you sent me an email in the last couple of days, I will get back to you. Unless the issue's been resolved. Best of luck this week. Follow the checklist. Get your assignments done. Watch your timelines. I'm a stickler for timelines. Make sure you do your stuff on time. And quality. Quality is another thing. Follow the rules. If it says 250 words, make sure it's 250 words. It's sometimes it's tedious, but the effort you put in there gives a much better project for you freshman students. I'm helping you write, learning to write better. And then APA format. We always use APA format. I will get some links up in the ReggieNet site with the APA formatting. I will give you a free pass on the first couple assignments on APA formatting. I won't take off. I will set a line in the sand. I will send a message out on ReggieNet, and then I will start taking off for incorrect APA citing. Like I said, I will give you the links to the best resource that I know for APA and answer any questions about it. So, welcome to week 2. I hope everything's going well, and I hope you guys are excited because I think football is going to come back. I think we're going to see the NFL. I don't know about college. Best of luck.